But then hang on a second. So you've done about 30 pods here. What's the experience? What was the idea leading into this podcast, Jonesy? Because it feels like you can talk. Like I'm not going to...
Before we... What you mean before we started the pod?
Yeah.
Well, I want to be a commentator, sports commentator.
You've got the kind of mellifluous tones. You've got... I could imagine you
Definition, please.
I could...
Definition?
Can you see you go up and down? Like you've got a voice you can listen to. It's not monotone.
No.
I can imagine you just going, it's the last day in September.
Scotty Boland. He is a beauty. 13!
Like you could do it all.
Yes, 13. Nah. Yeah, so that's the dream.
Mate, I've met Hutto.
Oh, Anthony Hudson.
Yeah.
Yep. Howie's a local boy, Boneheads. He's on the list.
I met Sandy Roberts. What a lovely man.
Sandy Roberts. Oh, he's got a beautiful voice. Bruce McAvaney. He's the top. He's the top.
Jeez.
Delicious. He's beautiful.
Dennis Committee, obviously.
Dennis Committee. Yes.
I've only crossed paths with Dennis. I haven't met him. Like I saw him in the flesh.
Have you met Bruce?
I have met Bruce.
Oh, how?
And no, he wouldn't have remembered it.
No.
It was literally... Well, strangely, I met Bruce not in a professional setting. He was at a restaurant and there was a table of us comedians and we're like, Bruce McAvaney. And we'd all... 3 sheets to the wind, Jonesy. And then we... We're like, oh, Bruce. And I reckon it would have just been a hot mess. He was like, what's going on? And we were like, and I think we got a photo.
I bet he would have loved it. Nah, that's the dream. Brucey, I want to be Bruce. That is me idol, I reckon. Big Brucey. It's just a shame he stopped. 2020, I think he stopped. But then he came back for the finals.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, him and Committee, you listen to like the 16. You watch the 16 grand final. Those
Chalk
two
and
are
cheese,
just going bang, bang.
It was good.
Because Dennis Committee is obviously, people love him because of all these little sayings and things he used to throw into it. And a mate reminded me of it recently with this one where there was, I think it was a Sydney game, can't remember the players, and one of them went into the pack and he just got taken high. And then Dennis Committee he goes in optimistically, comes out misty optically.
What? Actually, you know what I have got?
Which is a pretty good piece of wordplay.
You want
in
me
the
to?
moment.
This is gold, actually. So I've got best quotes that I've used over the past 2 years, I reckon. Since I've got this phone, I've heard quotes and I've written them down. I'll list through them. These are commentating quotes, and one of yours is featured on them. Not commentating. But I'll get to it. Yours is the last one. I literally added it 5 minutes before you came because I was watching your stuff and I was like, holy, that is good.
Oh, you've won. Okay.
So you've won me over.
Thank you, mate. I thought you just put it in to win over favour. But
No.
You've seen
This was genuinely good.
So this is nice because comedians will do this. Comedians, you'll hear things and you go, I've got to write that down.
Yeah.
Like, that's amazing.
Well, that's what I've done.
I think, mate, you're heading in the right direction for this commentary stuff.
Yeah, well, that's the dream. But here we go. Picked it up like a Dyson vacuum. As useless as a fly screen on the submarine.
Yeah, great.
Concrete as useless as a concrete parachute.
Yep.
As useless as glass hammer. You know the one. The knife's in the back. Let's effing twist it. Blah, blah, blah. He's made of glass, so he's prone to injury, you know. Have to put a bloody bomb under him to get him to move. Not going to mince me words. More chance of squeezing water from a stone. Built like a Sherman tank. They're running rampant, as scarce as a hen's tooth. As rare as rocking horse feces, could put a blanket over him. All that is Collingwood to an absolute tease. On a knife's edge, an oxygen thief. Obviously not a very nice thing to say. Like if I called you an oxygen thief.
Of course. But still, there's worse things to be said, mate. I mean, it's
true. Deaf as a doornail. Rusty as a tetanus fence. I made that up myself. Are you happy with that?
Rusty as a tetanus fence.
Look, tetanus fence are rusty, aren't they?
Well, the fence can't have tetanus, can it?
Can't it? No, because you scratch yourself and then you get tetanus from the fence.
It sounds good. Like I think,
I don't know.
Do you know what I mean? It rolls off the tongue, but then under scrutiny, maybe.
Yeah, well, I think the good thing about this, you don't tend to pay attention. I don't want the high IQs to get involved with this, you know. This is just me. I'd be negative IQ right now, but I don't care. That's genuine venom.
I don't want the high IQs to get involved.
All you do is convert oxygen into carbon dioxide. And then I added yours at the end. If Toby was a car, he'd be unroadworthy. Do you remember saying that?
Yes, I do remember saying that.
That got me.
Yeah.
I was happy with that, so I wrote that down. And yeah, that's a few of them. But,
well, mate, if I'm watching AFL how old are you now, Jonesy?
17.
17. 17. So I'd think you earn your stripes. It's not going to happen overnight.
No.
But in 10 years' time, I flick it on. Here we go. Thanks so much, guys, for being here. Pre-season, not only have we got new players, we've got a new commentator here. Jonesy, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, no worries, guys. Big game ahead of us.
And then I hear that thrown out in the third quarter, because I reckon the first quarter you'll be a bit nervous.
Yeah,
you're trying to jump in. There's probably 3 of you in the commentary box.
Yeah.
You know, because I think it's always the same setup, which is there's an ex-player he's now bedded in.
Commentator.
Your BT kind of a role. Then you've got the newer player who's he's had a storied career, but he's still working around the mic, and he's still
He is working around the mic. Sorry to cut you off, but Joel Selwood, I think, was a bit touch and go when he joined. Not criticism, brilliant player, and he's getting better, but at the start he was a little bit often...
Yeah, they're a bit wooden.
Yeah.
Because you can understand answering questions in a media scrum is very different to just writing the play and working it out.
Yeah.
But I can see you've pulled yourself up from your bootstraps. You've come through. You've been commentating VFA.
Might have to write that one. But yeah.
And you go to, and then what do you know? Jonesy's there. You're in a kind of ill-fitted suit jacket. You know, like the wardrobe hasn't exactly fitted you yet. In a couple of years, it'll look good, but it's kind of swimming around at this point in time.
Yeah, just covering every part of my body. Nah, the dream is going...
And then I'll hear that in the third quarter when you're relaxed into the first game.
Yeah,
I'll be like, he's made it!
Couple of quarters, then I should be into it. You know, KO...
And it'll be great. Thomas will be counting you down in the director's chair. Coming in 3... There we go, bang.
All over it. KO, you would have known this. They did their own, you apply and you could get a job in 2025 for footy.
I did not know this.
Oh, you didn't know this?
No.
Well, you have to be 18. And I was like, damn, I can't get it. Because you put in, 100 words of why you should be eligible, and then you put a video in. And I was like, missed my chance.
But Jonesy, in years gone by, like in the First World War, men... would say that they were older than they were so that they could go fight in the trenches. So if they found a way to defend this country,
I know.
You should find a way
what I should
to
do,
commentate your way through an AFL match.
I'll find a way. I'll try and get Howie on, and I'll be like, mate, give me the ins into Fox Footy and Triple M, and I'll surely get me behind the mic. I'll have to find a way. That's just, if I am a commentator, life's good.
Yeah? You'd be happy with it?
I'll be more than happy with that.
Do you... Ever since you were a kid, like, would you watch it and think...
I've been commentating in front of the TV since I was like 12. Turn it down. Sorry, Bruce. It's my turn now. I'll have a call.
How does Family Jones deal with this?
They tend to leave. But then I'll be respectful. So I'll be like, right, guys, let's watch as a family. I won't be calling. And then when they leave, I'll commentate.
Yeah,
so that
fair enough.
I'm respectful.
Yeah, that's good.
We've got a TV downstairs. One upstairs, one downstairs. So when the up one's being used, go downstairs, have a call.
Oh, yeah, just get a cheeky call in.
Yeah, that's it. Just, get the vocals up and about.
So if there's people visiting, is the family like, no, he's just downstairs, just commentate through the game? Just let him go.
They probably can hear me. I've never actually been, like, what's the word? Like, confronted by them? I don't know what the word is. Yeah. I've never been, like, they've never walked into me commentating because they probably can hear me from upstairs. I don't know if they can or they probably can, but even if they, I don't
worst things to walk in on a teenage boy doing. Like, that's not the worst that could be happening. So you'll be all right.
But
so yeah, mate. It seems like this is all working out really well for you.
Yeah.
But do you have because I know with commentators, in the little knowledge that I have, they quite often have a person there who's working the stats, who's working the little factoids.
And this is the easy thing. I didn't know this until a few years ago because I had the stats for me. I was researching myself. I was saying, right.
Yeah, but I think that's good because then you will know it off the top of your head.
Exactly, and that's good. But then I realised that they're given to you. They'll say a stat that's like no one would know, but it's literally handed to them. I'm like, oh, that's handy.
Yeah, I've followed some guys on social media who are the stats people for X
cool.
because I like basketball, and so I'll quite often follow these guys and they'll just pull these things out. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Yeah. And that'll be that weird thing of going, that's his first kick in second quarter for the last 12 rounds.
Yeah.
Like,
really means they're going to win the game. I don't know why it's interesting, but like if they say that, it's just like, cool. It doesn't mean a lot. A lot of them don't mean a lot. It's just like, cool.
Well, yeah, but you got to have filler.
Yeah, absolutely. That's if you've got nothing to say, then you put in a stat. But what I do think is that they go, like if you're a statistician and I'm the commentator, I say the stats. It's like me getting all the fame and you doing the hard yards and getting nothing. I find that a little bit...
No, but people have writers. Like, a TV show has writers, and then so...
Yeah, and directors.
Think that statistician, no doubt, couldn't stand being in front of the microphone.
Yeah, no, that's true. That is true.
So that's the thing. Like, I think it's good that you're getting across the stats. Don't get me wrong. You want to know your stuff. You don't want to be just like Ron Burgundy, where you're just whipping out whatever's said in front of you. You're saying something that you're just reading this verbatim and not understanding what the hell's coming out.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong.
Like, you want to know all that stuff. But then also you want to know leading up to it, little stories, little anecdotes that are leading up. You want to be all across it, which sounds like you are.
Yeah, I do tend to take some things seriously in commentating world. I do find my stats a lot of fantasy, AFL fantasy. I don't know if you do that. But
there you go.
Yeah.
Well, I know that Luke Darcy, for a fact, did what you did when he wanted to become a commentator. Just turn the volume down and then just went for it. So that's how Luke Darcy taught himself.
Well, he was a former player, so...
Yeah, but then if you think about it, if you're a former player, I mean, you would watch, you'd think a bit of footy, but probably not as much as fans of footy. Like what I've found is that footy players, like they watch film and they'll watch stuff, but they're not necessarily like you are because they've played the game. They're not spending the rest of the weekend. They might have it on, but they're probably not as into it as you are.
Yeah, and this is why I find, because a lot of them are past players, and I'm like, right, can we get a normal commentator in that's good at their job, and then you get the past players being experts. You know, BT is a good commentator. I actually rate him commentating. But I think, you know, you should have a Bruce McAvaney who didn't play the game, but he's just a gun. Dennis Cometti didn't play the game, but he's a gun. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I think right now on Channel 7, we're lacking that.
Oh, you're lacking a Jonesy just to jump in.
A Jonesy,
is that what you're saying?
But just a
guy with a bit of character.
Just a pure natural commentator who hasn't had
things
anything
fall
to do.
flat. He can be like, you know what will help this? Bit of barbecue sauce. That's what. It helps any situation.
Sauce. I'll finish every sentence with barbecue sauce. Yep, new nickname, I reckon. What's your nickname? Thornto.
Thorny. Thorno. Which is actually, I say that really disappointingly, but it's more, I find it quite funny because I never had that nickname growing up or at school or...
It was just Dave.
And it sounds like a sporting nickname, but it was comedy that gave me Thorno because there's so many Daves. So it sounds like a sporting nickname, but it was invented in the arts.
Well, there's a Henry Thornton. I don't know if you know him, plays for Adelaide Strikers. He took 5 for 3 in one game.
Bloody cousin Henry. He's a good bloke anytime.
Yeah, I know.
He's a good guy.
He got it off you, I reckon.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, back in the backyard.
Yeah.
Well, geez, I reckon we've been yabbling on for half an hour about me. This is not about me. This is about you.
Jonesy, I want to know, mate. I just want to know. Well, the sounds of things, I'm hitching myself to your success now, mate.
Yeah, I know. We're going to be here for 12 hours if we keep this up. You were with Bob Murphy, another sporting bloke. Cheap Seats podcast, am I right in calling that?
Yes,
name?
the Cheap Seats. That was named that before the TV show Cheap Seats.
They've just taken your thunder. Melanie Bracewell. And, oh boy.
Yeah, you're testing me now.
Oh boy.
I've met Mel and done gigs with her, but I haven't met...
get him.
He's very good. I think he's very funny.
Yeah, but I forgot his name.
Escapes me again.
Anyway, moving on.
See, this is why you need a statistician
I know,
and a researcher.
Tommy, this is your job, mate. Who's the Cheap Seats guy? Melanie Bracewell and someone else. Apologies to her, whoever he is.
Oh, yeah. That's right, Tom. I've realised this is like Joe Rogan's podcast where we go to you for all the facts and you can look it all up.
Yeah, come on, Tommy.
Tim McDonald.
Tim McDonald, Macca.
Oh, a very lovely guy, very talented guy. My mate does warm-up, so he warms up the audience. He's a comedian that does that, Ben Lomas. Very funny guy. He said Tim's a lovely dude. Very talented. Actually, he'd know a thing or two, not about commentating, but at least about hosting and doing all the TV
Would you
stuff.
take a uni course doing commentating, or is it just natural? Just walk into Channel 7 and say, give me a gig?
You'd probably, well, in that case, study media, I would say. But then, I don't want to dissuade you from doing that, but I also think you would probably get more experience by just, going down to the football club and just saying, I'll commentate a game for you.
But the thing is, I don't know their players. I'll just be number 30 gives it off to 20, feeds it over,
I reckon, but you say that, if you got, because they'd have a list, you genuinely that week go over the list. You'd be like, number 30. Yeah.
True.
It's easy. You can get the paperwork. You get it soon enough. But I reckon too, if you could learn that, if you could learn a local football league, even not just the team, but all the other, like if you could pull that off, think about how easy AFL would be.
Yeah, I know. I already know their players.
Totally.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
That's true.
Well, there's a will, there's a way,
mate. You
mate.
just have to find it and get traction. That's all. Just film it or do something. Anyway, that's the story for another time. But back to the Cheap Seats, Tim McDonald, Melanie Bracewell. This was before them. This is you and Bob Murphy on a